My name is Naomi Carter. I'm 41 years old, and I work as a compliance officer for a regional bank in Oregon. At 7:42 on a Saturday evening, my husband stood in my dining room in front of 22 relatives and announced that I would be signing my grandmother's house over to his younger brother by the end of the month. My fingers went numb around a glass of iced tea, not because he had surprised me, because I had found the emails 3 days earlier. Before I continue, if this story connects with you, take a moment to like and subscribe, but only if you genuinely want to hear how it ends. And tell me in the comments where you're watching from tonight. Now let me take you back to the Thursday morning, when I first realized my marriage had been carrying a lie I never agreed to hold. The house was a small blue farmhouse on Maple Bend Road, 12 minutes outside of town. It had white trim, a porch that dipped slightly on the left side, and a pear tree in the backyard that my grandmother Evelyn planted before I was born. She left it to me 6 years ago because she knew it was the only place in my life that had ever felt steady. My husband, Ryan, never loved that house. He liked what it represented: stability, land, a place his family could point to and say, "Ryan did well." That mattered to him more than I understood. Ryan's family turned every dinner into a scoreboard. His mother, Patricia, tracked who bought what, who hosted, who upgraded, who stepped up. His father, Leonard, only became talkative when money was involved. Ryan's brother, Caleb, was 36 and always 5 minutes away from his next big break. Every dream had a logo. None of them had a budget. I was the quiet one in that family. The dependable one who brought salad, cleaned dishes, remembered birthdays, and did not ask why Caleb's ideas always became everyone else's responsibility. For years, Ryan told me I was too cautious. "You work in compliance," he said once, laughing as if it explained my entire personality. "You see danger in a receipt." Maybe I did, but receipts tell the truth when people don't. The first warning came on a Thursday at 6:18 a.m. I was in the kitchen, making coffee, when Ryan's laptop chimed on the counter. He had left it open because he had been working late. A notification slid across the screen from someone named Grant Willis. Subject line: collateral confirmation. I am not proud of opening that email. I can tell you it was wrong. I can also tell you that when you have lived for years with a feeling you cannot name, sometimes one subject line gives the feeling a shape. The email said, "Ryan, before I draft the bridge loan agreement, I need written confirmation that Maple Bend will be transferred into your name or Caleb's LLC before the closing date. Caleb says the family already approved it." I read the sentence 3 times. Maple Bend, my grandmother's house. Caleb's LLC. Family already approved it. The room smelled like burnt toast because I had forgotten the bread in the toaster. I stood there, barefoot on the cold tile, and felt my stomach drop in a quiet, clean way. Not dramatic, not loud, just the body understanding before the mind is ready. I forwarded the email to myself, deleted the forwarding trace, and closed the laptop exactly how he had left it. At 8:31 a.m., I called in sick. Then I drove to Maple Bend. The farmhouse looked the same when I pulled in, blue paint fading near the gutters, wind moving through the pear tree. I sat in the driveway for 11 minutes, trying to understand how it had become collateral in a loan I never knew existed. By 10:04, I was inside, sitting at the old oak table with my laptop open and a legal pad beside me. I checked the county property records first. The deed was still in my name, Naomi Elaine Carter. No transfers, no liens, no mortgage. That should have comforted me. It didn't. Next, I searched Ryan's emails more carefully from my phone, using a saved login he once gave me during tax season and apparently forgot to change. I typed Maple Bend, then farmhouse, then Caleb, then transfer. What appeared was not one mistake. It was a timeline. 6 months of messages. Ryan had told Caleb the house was basically ours. He had told Patricia that I was coming around. He had told Grant Willis that the property could be used as temporary security for Caleb's business loan because Naomi won't object once she sees the family benefit. There was one email from Patricia that I still remember word for word. "Don't let her bank job make her think she controls everything. Wives need to understand that family property serves the family." I screenshot it. Then I made a folder on my desktop and named it Pear Tree. That was not anger. That was evidence. By noon, I had called my attorney, Marisol Vega. I had used her years earlier for my grandmother's estate. When I told her what I had found, she asked one question. "Has he signed anything with your name on it?" I don't know, I said. Find out, she said. And do not warn him. That sentence stayed with me. Do not warn him. So I didn't. Ryan came home that evening at 6:52, kissed my cheek, and asked why I looked tired. I told him I had a headache. He heated leftover pasta and complained that Caleb was under pressure because banks don't understand small businesses. I almost laughed. Instead, I said, "That must be stressful." Ryan nodded, pleased by my sympathy. He just needs one real shot. I watched him twirl spaghetti around his fork and realized he genuinely believed I was the final obstacle, not the owner. On Friday, Marisol found the draft agreement. Caleb's lender had not filed anything yet, but the documents were prepared. There was a signature page with my name typed beneath a blank line. There was also a note from Ryan to Caleb sent at 11:16 p.m. 2 weeks earlier. If Naomi hesitates, Mom will handle her at Dad's birthday. She won't embarrass herself in front of everyone. That was his first mistake. He thought my silence meant softness. It had never occurred to him that silence could be preparation. Saturday was Leonard's 65th birthday dinner at our house. By 5:30 p.m., Patricia was arranging candles along my table like she owned the place. Caleb stood near the kitchen island, showing a cousin his new business logo on his phone. I wore a navy dress, small pearl earrings, and the gold bracelet my grandmother gave me on my 21st birthday. In my black tote bag were printed emails, county records, the original deed copy, and Marisol's business card. I did not plan to attack. I planned to let them speak first. Dinner began at 7:08. Roast chicken, potatoes, green beans, Patricia's lemon cake waiting on the counter. The room was warm from the oven. Forks clicked. Caleb joked about finally becoming a real entrepreneur, and everyone clapped as if an idea were the same thing as work. At 7:42, Patricia tapped her knife against her glass. "Before cake," she said, smiling toward me, "we have a little family announcement." Ryan looked at me, then looked away. That was when I knew he knew exactly what was coming. Patricia continued. "Caleb's business is finally getting the backing it deserves, and Naomi and Ryan have generously agreed to put Maple Bend behind him so the loan can close." 22 people turned toward me. Caleb grinned. "Just temporary, obviously." Ryan reached under the table and squeezed my knee. "Not affection. Warning." My fingers went numb around my glass. I set it down carefully, because my grandmother taught me never to break useful things just because people disappointed you. I looked at Ryan and said, "Is that what we agreed?" His smile tightened. "We talked about it." "No," I said. "You talked about it. With everyone except me." The room changed instantly. Small sounds disappeared first. No forks, no laughter, just the hum of the refrigerator and someone's chair creaking near the wall. Patricia gave a light laugh. "Naomi, sweetheart, don't make this awkward." "It is already awkward," I said. "I'm just making it accurate." Ryan's face flushed. "Can we discuss this privately?" "We could have," I said. "Any time in the last 6 months." Caleb frowned. "Wait, 6 months?" I reached into my tote bag and took out the folder. It was plain cream cardstock. My grandmother used to keep recipes in folders like that. Something about that detail steadied me. I opened it on the table. "Before I answer whether my house will be used as collateral," I said, "I want to ask one question." Ryan whispered, "Naomi." I ignored him. I looked around the table, then back at Patricia. "When did this family decide that my inheritance belonged to you?" 3 seconds. 5. 10. Nobody answered. Patricia's mouth tightened. "That is not what anyone said." I pulled out the first printed email and placed it beside her plate. "You wrote, 'Wives need to understand that family property serves the family.'" That was Monday, April 13th at 9:22 p.m. Someone at the far end of the table inhaled sharply. Ryan stood halfway. "You went through my emails?" "I found a lender asking whether my house had been transferred to Caleb's LLC," I said. That was Thursday morning at 6:18. After that, yes, I looked for the truth. Caleb's grin was gone now. "Ryan, you said she knew." "She did know," Ryan snapped. I turned to him. "Then tell them what I said." His jaw moved, but no words came out. "Tell them the date," I said. "Tell them where we were standing. Tell them the sentence I used when I agreed to risk the only thing my grandmother left me." Silence. That word gets used casually, but real silence has weight. It presses on people. It makes cowards start adjusting their sleeves. Leonard finally spoke. Son? Ryan looked at his father. I thought she'd agree. The room shifted again. Caleb pushed back from the table. You thought? No, Caleb said, voice rising. My loan is based on this. Grant said paperwork was coming. I slid another page across the table. Draft paperwork. With my typed name under a blank signature line. Ryan said. I never signed it. Not yet, I said. Marisol says that matters. She also says the lender will be receiving notice Monday morning that Maple Bend is not, and never will be, available as collateral for Caleb's company. Who is Marisol? Patricia asked, though her voice was smaller now. My attorney. The word landed harder than I expected. If you know what it feels like to have your boundaries treated like a family inconvenience, you're not alone. Hit subscribe, and tell me in the comments, what would you have said at that table? Patricia's eyes narrowed. You brought a lawyer into family business? No, I said. Ryan brought my property into family business. I brought a lawyer into mine. Caleb stood up fully now, his chair scraping the floor. So the loan is dead? He asked. Yes, I said. He looked at Ryan. You told me this was handled. Ryan spread his hands. I was trying to help you. With what? Caleb said. A house you don't own? That was the moment the story Ryan had built began turning on him. Not because I shouted, not because I cried, because the facts were finally sitting under candlelight, where everyone could see them. Patricia tried one more time. Naomi, think carefully, she said. Do you really want to be the reason Caleb loses this opportunity? I looked at her, and I thought of my grandmother's hospital room at 3:09 in the afternoon, the day she told me, don't let anyone make you feel guilty for protecting what I protected for you. Then I looked back at Patricia. No, I said. Caleb is losing an opportunity because he built it on property he never owned. Ryan is losing trust because he offered property that was never his. And you are losing access to me because you mistook politeness for permission. A cousin near the doorway said quietly, She has a point. Patricia turned on her. Stay out of this. But it was too late. One witness had said the thing out loud, and that was enough. Ryan stepped toward me. Naomi, please. You're humiliating me. I almost smiled. Not because it was funny, but because it was so honest. Not, I hurt you. Not, I lied. Not, I'm sorry. Just the humiliation of being seen. You humiliated yourself, I said. I only brought paper. His eyes were wet now. He lowered his voice. I was trying to prove I could take care of my family. And which family am I in, Ryan? He blinked. I waited. You're my wife, he said. Then why was I the last person to know? He looked down. That was the answer. I closed the folder slowly. Maple Bend stays in my name. Caleb's loan moves forward without it, or it doesn't move forward. That is not my emergency, Patricia whispered. Evelyn would be ashamed. For the first time that night, something hot moved through my chest. I stood. Do not use my grandmother's name because your plan failed, I said. She worked 2 jobs after my grandfather died to keep that house. She patched the roof herself one summer because she refused to borrow from people who thought help meant ownership. She left it to me because she trusted me to know the difference between family and pressure. The room was perfectly still. Even Patricia did not answer. I turned to Ryan. You can stay here tonight with them, or you can come upstairs and pack a bag. But by Monday, we start counseling, legal separation, or both. I'm done being generous in rooms where honesty is treated like betrayal. Then I walked out of my own dining room. My heels clicked down the hall. Behind me, voices rose all at once. Caleb's angry, Patricia's sharp, Leonard's low and tired, Ryan's voice trying to calm everyone, though he was the reason everyone needed calming. I went upstairs, shut the bedroom door, and sat on the edge of the bed. For 12 minutes, I did nothing. Then I cried. Not pretty tears, not cinematic tears, just quiet, exhausted tears into my own hands, because the body sometimes waits until the danger has passed before admitting it was hurt. At 8:19 p.m., there was a knock. Ryan opened the door without waiting. His eyes were red. They left. I nodded. Caleb says he might lose the deposit. I said nothing. My mother says she doesn't know how we come back from this. I looked at him. Your mother is not the marriage. He sat in the chair near the window, the one where I folded laundry on Sundays. I didn't think it would go this far, he said. That's because you thought I would fold before consequences arrived. He wiped his face with both hands. I wanted them to respect me. You used my grandmother's house to buy respect. The sentence broke something in him. His shoulders dropped. He started crying then, real crying. The kind that makes a person look less defensive and more exposed. I'm sorry, he said. I believed he was sorry. I did not know yet if he was changed. Those are different things. Monday morning at 9, Marisol sent formal notice to Grant Willis that Maple Bend was not available for collateral, transfer, lien, assignment, or any other financial arrangement involving Caleb, Ryan, or any Carter family member besides me. At 9:17, Grant replied, "Understood. We will withdraw the draft agreement." At 10:03, Caleb texted Ryan, "Not me. You ruined this by lying. I know, because Ryan showed me. I did not react either way." The weeks after that were not peaceful. Patricia called me cold. Leonard called me stubborn. Caleb called me two-faced, which was interesting from a man who had never checked whose name was on the deed. I blocked them for 30 days. During that month, I stayed at Maple Bend 3 nights a week. I fixed the porch railing, washed the curtains, and hired a painter to touch the white trim. The house began to smell like lemon oil and old wood instead of dust. Ryan started counseling with me the second week. He admitted, slowly and painfully, that he had spent years presenting himself as the provider in stories where I was the one providing. Not always with money, sometimes with planning, labor, emotional cleanup. The invisible work people only notice when it stops. I did not forgive him quickly. I also did not leave immediately. Real life is heavier than a comment section, and I needed time to see whether Ryan could tell the truth when nobody was forcing him. 6 months have passed since that dinner. Caleb found a smaller loan with actual collateral. Patricia does not call me sweetheart anymore. She calls me Naomi, carefully, like my name has edges now. Ryan and I are still married, but the marriage is not what it was. The old marriage had secrets wearing the costume of peace. The new one has uncomfortable honesty, legal protections, and counseling every Thursday at 5:30. Maple Bend is still mine. Every document says so. Last weekend, I sat on the porch beneath the pear tree with a cup of coffee and watched the evening light move across the grass. The porch still dips slightly on the left side. I could fix it, but I haven't yet. Some uneven places remind you where weight used to fall. Ryan promised my house to his brother because he thought marriage meant access. His family backed him because they thought politeness meant weakness. And I brought the deed to dinner because sometimes the only way to stop a lie is to let it speak in front of witnesses, then lay the truth beside it, page by page. If you are listening to this, and someone in your life keeps calling your boundary selfish, I want you to hear me clearly. A boundary is not betrayal. A boundary is the receipt for self-respect. People who only love you when you are useful do not lose you suddenly. They lose you slowly, every time they ask for more and notice less. And one day, if you are lucky, you stop explaining. You open the folder, you say the truth, and you keep the house.